Hello, this is Dr. James Webb, and I'll be working with you on this is the second of a series of videos that I've been doing in regards to Hadoop and its ecosystem. The first one we did was called Installing Ubuntu 16.04 on a virtual machine. During that one, I walked you through the process as far as how to stand up your virtual machine using VirtualBox. And then we installed the Ubuntu operating system on there. Okay, so you need to have that complete at least as a minimum in order to continue with this video. Okay, let's look at the agenda. Here's the agenda as far as what we'll be covering today. First, we're going to be installing the editor and terminal. We're also going to go through the process of installation of Hadoop, configuration of Hadoop, and deployment. One other thing we're going to do after we do the install of the editor and terminal, we're going to also go through your system and set up a shared folder. Okay, let's get started. Okay, this is after I bring up VirtualBox on my computer. We'll be using Ubuntu, so you just press start, and it'll start out. It just takes a few minutes. This is a fresh start. Okay. To maximize the screen, let me just go ahead and resize this a little bit. Okay. It's asking now for the password. It just takes a few minutes for it to come up. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is what your Ubuntu would look like on your virtual machine when you first install it. The first thing we want to do is, let me get rid of this bar up here. You don't need that, so just press the X. Next, we're going to install terminal. So you select to go to your search computer. And in the search criteria, I'll just type in terminal. And TER is all it took, and there it is. So I install terminal. It's here. I right-click on it so I can lock it to my launcher. Okay. Now I'm gonna close out of there for right now. I don't need that. The next thing I'm gonna do is let's go back up here and let's get the editor as well. So I'll type editor. Yep, there's a text editor. Look at this one. Same thing. I will right-click and launch it, lock it to my launcher. We'll close the editor. Now, let's start looking as far as setting up our shared folders. You need to come up to Devices, and where it says Insert Guest Edition CD, we're going to be using that. We're going to be installing Guest Editions. So you run that. It tells you it's about to install it. Go ahead, tell it to run. It wants your password. Go ahead and authenticate. Yeah, just take a few seconds for that. I'll come back as soon as it's finished. Okay, you'll get to a point here where the screen will stop. It'll say press return to close this window. So you just press return. Okay, now those additions are installed. The next thing we need to do is we now need to share the folder off of our host system. So I'm gonna come down here to my folders. This is on my Windows computer. Come down to folders, and I've already created a folder under my documents directory called share folder. Okay, now for and that's all you need to do. If you don't know how to share a folder table, we'll just go ahead and go through the steps. Okay. To share a folder, I'll go to documents, my documents directory, and then I'll create a new folder. And let's call this one share 3. Share folder 3. And then press enter. Okay, again, so it's off the PC, the documents directory, and it's called share folder 3. All right. Now, the next thing you do is you need to right click on share folder 3, and right here where it says share with, I come down to where it says specific people, select that. Now, I'm going to add a user, so you come to the right and you click the down arrow and you highlight everyone. That's who we're going to be adding, so that everyone will have access to this shared folder, and you select add. Now, as far as the permission level, let's give them full read and write in that directory. Okay? And then once you have everything set, so everyone is now set for read and write, you come down and you select share. Okay. That folder is now being shared. And we got to remember the name of it is called Share Folder 3. Don't let me forget that. Share Folder 3. Okay. So now to actually set up our shares, we come up to Devices, and you go to Shared Folders, the Share Folder Settings. And now when it says Machine, you select that. And then we're going to say add a new shared folder. It wants to know the path, so you select the down arrow and say Other. And now it'll explore your system. And remember, we were under the Documents directory, and it was Share Folder 3. So I'm looking for Share Folder 3. And here it is, Share Folder 3. We select that. And I say Select Folder. So it's got Share Folder 3. Now, what we want to do is we want it to auto-mount and make it permanent. So you don't have to worry about having to go back in here and share it again. If we just said read only, then it just limits, you can't write to it from within the system. So we say, and if you didn't make it permanent, then after your session, when it was over, so was the share. So say OK. We say OK. All right. Now that sets that up. Now we're not finished yet. We still need to change the ownership of this. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up your terminal. We have to change the ownership of that that shared folder we just created here on this side. Okay. Now the command we need to type for that is we'll type sudo sudo, then add user, and then the user is James, because that's me. Now that's my login, James, and then you'll go with VBOXSF. That's the shared folder on the system. And then we'll press enter. You want to know the password. Press enter. Okay, now I've been added to the group. Okay, we're finished there. So now to test to see if everything is set up right, we can go up here to our file manager. Oh, that's right. What we need to do is, since we've made all these changes, we need to shut down this virtual machine and bring it back up. Okay, so upper right hand corner, I'll say shut down. You sure? Yeah, we need to do a restart. Okay, now we'll bring it back up. Okay. Just takes a few seconds for it to come back up. All right. Now let's go ahead and I'll get rid of this little bar up top. Okay, password. And press enter. Now let's look to see if that share exists. So again, I'll just come to my file manager. Right here, there's our new share, the shared folder. But now as I click it, as I select it, there's nothing in there. But watch, what we'll do is in order to place something there, I can just go to Windows now. And I had a folder, there's a file that we're going to be using for this installation. It's sitting up here in my shared folder, in my shared to folder. So I'll just go ahead and right click, copy it, go back down to documents. And now this is, remember, the shared folder we're using for this instance is shared folder 3. There's nothing in there. So I'll right click and I'll say paste. The file is now in there into the share folder 3. Okay, and that's the one we're going to be using for this installation. Okay, now I can close out of that. Now, let's come out of this in order for it to reset. And now we'll go back in, share folder 3, and there's the file, the Apache Hadoop file that we're going to be using for this session. Okay, so as you can see, our share is now working. The next thing we need to do is let's go ahead and get started. So the instructions are, we're going to open up our text editor so we can get that file I just showed you. And then we'll say open file, other documents. We're going to go to that shared folder and open up the Apache Hadoop install steps. Okay, these are the steps we're going to be doing in order for this installation. To minimize some space, we're going to have to resize our screen a little bit. It's the best way I could think of how to do this. Normally I've got 2 monitors, but for this, let's open a terminal. But for you, let's open it up. Okay. All right, we'll do it this way. Therefore, our code is up here, and we'll just be doing the activities down here. Okay, the first thing it wants us to do is a login with root, and the command, anything that has a hashtag in front of it is the, if it has a hashtag in front of it is a command. So we'll just type in sudo space su space -sign. We're logging in as root, and then the password. You press enter. Notice as you type your password, it doesn't display. For those of you who are not familiar with Linux. Then the next thing it says, we're going to do a system update. So to save time, instead of typing all of this, I'm just going to get and highlight it, right click, copy. Remember, don't take that hash, because the hash is not a part of it. And then I'll do a paste, enter. It's going to do a system update. Okay, it's done. The next thing we're to do is we're going to do an installation of our Open SSH server. So same thing. We'll copy that line. Copy. Paste. And enter. It asks, do you want to continue? Yes. So you hit Y. Enter. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just type clear. only so I can clear the screen. We're back up at the top, and it's a nice clean look. All right, so we've already done this command. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to copy a couple. We're going to copy a file. We're going to copy our config file. So we'll highlight this one, right click, copy, paste. Okay, that's copied. Next, for here, let's go ahead and bring this up a little bit. So I'll hit my down arrow. All right, so we're going to use the G editor. So I'll highlight and change our configuration file. We're changing the password authentication within that configuration file. So copy, paste, enter that. Now, that's all we need is one more window. All right, but we're only going to be in this one for a short while. So let's see. The next thing we're going to do is, as you can see, the first thing we're going to do is within this file, we're going to change. You're going to see we're going to look for a line that says hashtag password authentication yes. We're going to change it to just password authentication no. We're going to remove that hash sign in front of it. So let's first do that. So we'll scroll down in this file, use my down arrow key, looking for that password authentication yes. Don't get it confused with the public key authentication. No, it's password authentication we're looking for. Here it is. Password authentication is currently set for yes. So what we're going to do is first, on the left-hand side, I'm going to just do a backspace to get rid of that that hash key. It's okay. The screen and behind you, you're going to see all kinds of stuff happening to that. Yeah, it's okay. Then you're going to change the text to no. Okay, that was the first thing. So we got that set. The next thing they want us to do is, after we change it to no, we're going to also add the following to the end of the file. We're going to, now this right here, you're going to replace it with your username. I'm just going to leave it like it is right now so we can copy it and then we'll change it. Okay. Just take those 3 lines, right key, copy. Okay, again, to the end of the file. So we're going to come all the way down to the end of the file. Okay, there's the end of the file. So I hit enter, and then I'll do a right click and a paste. Now remember, right here where it says allow users, we're going to change that to your name. In this case, James. The next thing to do, we're not finished yet. We changed the, okay, we changed, or we copied this to the end of the file. We added it to the end of the file. Now, we need to change the log level info to log level verbose. Okay, so in this file, we're looking for where it says log level info. And we're going to change it to verbose. Right here. Log level, it says info. We're going to change it to, again, with all capital letters, just the way you see it, verbose. Okay, now it says save and restart that file. So save, save, file is saved, and we'll close it. Okay, now, and then now to restart the file, this is the command we're going to type. Copy, system control, restart the SSH file. Okay. Yeah, all that stuff you see behind you, back here, don't worry about it. That's normal. Okay, press enter. Okay, it's been restarted. Next, let's scroll down here a little bit to bring up step 6. That's where we are. Okay, after the SSH is configured, we need to create an SSH key for your username. So this is how we'll do that. Next, we're going to type in SU for switch user to your name, minus space James. We now have gone back to my account. All right, now once you've done that, I'm no longer root. Here's the command we're going to be typing in there to generate that key. Okay, just that part of it. The rest of it you leave. All right, click, copy, paste, and we press enter. It's generating a key. Enter the file that you want to save. Now, when it comes up with that, just hit the enter key. All right, there's no other. We're not going to explicitly identify a location. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do on the bottom screen, let's clear that screen a little bit. So let's type clear, just so we can move the cursor to the top of the screen. Okay. We've already created our key. Next, enable SSH access to the local machine. So we're going to concatenate this one file and put that authorization key at the bottom. So we just highlight it, right click, copy, and then paste, and we press enter. Okay, we've done it. Next, we want to test our SSH file. So just type SSH localhost. So I'll just highlight it, right click, copy, paste. Okay, are you wanting to continue? Yes. So you have to type the word out here instead of just a Y or an N. Yes. Okay. And everything's good. It's been updated. Okay. Let me clear my screen again. I have to keep doing that since we have such a limited area. Okay. Now, this is the action. Now we're going to start installing the Hadoop portion. Let's go ahead and move this up a little bit. Step 1. We're going to add Java repository and install the Oracle Java 8. So we need to log in as root. So sudo su minus and the password. Okay, we're now in as root. Next, we're going to add this repository. Right click, copy, right click, paste. Okay. Press enter to continue. So we press enter. All right. So we're good. After we did that, now we're going to go ahead and get an update now that we've installed Java. So right click, copy, right click, paste, get update. All right, so we've got the fresh update. Next, we're going to install the Oracle Java installer. So it's like that. And right click, copy, right click, paste, hit enter. Do you want to continue? Y. Enter. All right. Here, we're going to go ahead and select, just hit enter for OK. And then over here, you get to either press the left arrow key for yes, and then press enter. It'll continue. Takes a little while for it to do this. After it's finished, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check as far as see which version of Java that we're running. So we're halfway finished. Three-quarters of the way. Okay, this part is done. Now it's removing the outdated cached downloads. Okay, we're back in our prompt. Now, instead of copying, I'm just going to type it this time. All I need to do is I need to know what the version is. So there's a Java dash version space version. All right, and now it gives me the version in the build as far as which version of Java we just now downloaded. So let's clear the screen. All right. Now, downloading and installing the Hadoop. Okay, now we need to get the version of Hadoop. For this one, correction. It says 7. Let's make this 7.2.7.3. Okay, that's the version of Hadoop we want to get. So what we want to do is we need to go out to the hadoop.apache.org to get a copy of it. Using our Firefox, this is what we're going to do. And also, here's a couple of things to notice. One, we want to make sure it's a binary copy of Hadoop desktop, okay? And you'll notice it'll end with like a .gz, and this is the location, http hadoop.apache.org. So what I'll do is I'll just copy that as far as our location. Right click, copy. I'm going to open up Firefox now. Okay. Now from Firefox, I'm just right click. I'm going to paste that URL in there on apache.org. Press enter. All right. And now we're out there at Apache Hadoop. We'll select download Hadoop. And then from download Hadoop, release pages to download a release. Okay, we're going to go to there to get a copy. Now let me close that out. Now, note, for this one, we were doing 2.7.3. It was released in August of 2016. Make sure we're getting a binary copy, okay? So here it is. This is the one we want to get. The binary copy. Now, and here they are. And these are all the different mirror sites. I'll just select the very first one. It's okay. Remember, looking for that tar.gz. So from that location. The next thing, what we want, because this is an ISO file, we want not an ISO file. This is a tar file. We want the whole thing. So we just want it as a saved image, as a saved file. We don't need it extracted or anything. So select Save File, and then say OK. Okay. Then open a container. It's in our downloads. You're going to notice that this is going to be in our downloads directory. And if we go to Files, you'll see it sitting in our downloads directory. Okay. Now let's see, is it finished? It looks like it. Yeah. 214 meg. Okay. So what I recommend you do is take it and let's put it on our desktop. So you click and then just drag it over to the desktop and let it go. And therefore it's sitting on that desktop. You'll see why in a second, because that's where the code is written. So we can close this. We can also close Firefox because we're finished with that. Next, we've already finished that step. Let's go to our next step. Let's scroll the screen up a little bit. Okay, log in with your user name. So click here, switch user to James. Okay, and then now I'm James. Change directory. Well, notice if you do an ls, you can see exactly where you are. Permission. Let's see. Change directory. Yeah, press change directory. Now, change directory to capital desktop. Because if you look, if I do an ls, I can now see all my different files and directories that are available. The one I want to go to is the one that says desktop, because that's where we just put that file. So we say cd, and then desktop with a capital D, because that's how it is. That's how it's created. Change it to desktop. And see, now I'm in my desktop directory. And here's the command that we need to place in there. Don't notice. You only take it up to here because that's the full name of the file. And remember, or whatever you call that download, the download that we did, the actual file name is right here. And it was Hadoop-7. Hadoop-2.7.3.tar.gz. So, copy. If at the time of this, that you're doing this, if there's a different file name, use that file name. Okay, and then press enter. And let's go ahead and does all the extractions and it starts doing the build. Okay. So far, so good. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to make a couple of directories. We need to make a directory and move a file into it. So we're going to make a directory, user local Hadoop, copy, paste. Okay, it made the directory. Now we need to move this file into that directory. Right click, paste. Okay, I just hit the enter twice, that's all. Let's clear the screen. Okay, now we need to change the ownership of that file. So, notice right here is going to be your name. So I'll fix that as we get into, as I copy it over. Copy. Okay, now let me go up here and change it to, so -R, James, and that's it. Get rid of my placeholder. Go to the end of there. Okay, so I've just changed the ownership of that file. Step 3. Here's a file we need to edit right now. It's the bash rc file. Okay, first before we do that, let's check to see that exactly where Java is installed. Just make sure we got this path right. So we'll run this command. Okay, yeah, we're good. Now, instead of using the gedit, now we're going to start using an editor, this nano. So we use nano, copy. I'm going to edit that file. Command's a little slightly different, and also you got to watch wherever that little flashing cursor is, because if you just click down here, you're not really down here. It's where that flashing cursor is where you really are. So when you start editing these and copying pasting these files in there, you're going to have to be very careful. Okay, so come back up to our instructions and let's scroll down a little bit, okay? Because we're going to be adding the following at the end of that bash or C file. Okay, so add the following to the end of the file. These are our environmental variables. So we want to take those, all these exports, and then we're going to add it to the end of this file. So as we cleared, notice this is where the cursor is. So I use that, and I'll start coming down. Okay. And we're at the end of the file. Now from here, what I'll do is right click, paste. All those environmental variables are down there now. Okay. And then press enter. Okay. Save the file and exit. To save a file using this editor, you're going to go Control X, which is the first part. So hold on your Control key, hit X, and then it's asking save. Say Y for yes, and then you just press enter uh, to finish with the file save. Finish with the write. Okay. All right. So Control X, then yes, and then enter. And now you've saved that file. So let me scroll a little further. Next, you'll type in this command, source -rc. Okay, and now just push the export variables out for you. Next, exporting the home path. So we're going to change directory. Right click. Press enter. Okay, so now we're in this directory. And from here, we've got a few variables we need to replace. So again, we're going to use that nano editor again. And we're going to edit the environmental file. Copy. All right. Again, watch for the flashing cursor. What we're going to do in this file is we're going to replace, there's a file that's going to say Java home equals Java home. What we're going to do, we're going to replace it to export Java home equals this full path. Remember, that's where Java is. Remember when we checked earlier to find out where exactly Java was sitting? That's where the home path is for Java. So copy, flashing cursor, and now use a down arrow key. And you'll notice, because it's going to be, here it is right here, that export Java underbar home equals, and we got to give it the path that it's in. So what I'll do is for here, I'll just delete this one. And we'll paste the new one. Okay, so now the Java home export variable is now pointing to the right location. Okay, now we're finished with that file, so we just save and exit. Same thing, Control X, yes, and enter. Okay, now that concludes that part. Now let's bring this back up. The next thing we need to do is we need to create the following temp directories and change ownership to you. So we're going to make this directory. Okay, and now we're going to change the ownership. Right click. Now be careful before you hit enter on this one, because you got to change it, put your name in there. Remember right here where it has I just, as a placeholder, we have your name. Put in, for me, it'll be James. I can delete the other stuff out of there. And go to end of line. Okay. So the ownership for the file is now changed. Editing XML based on Hadoop configuration files. All Hadoop configuration files reside under this right here. So there's several files we're about to go ahead and edit. So let's first go there. We're going to be changing all these configuration files. So copy, All right. Oh, we're sitting there already. Uh, next, the first file we're going to edit is this one called core site XML. So again, we're going to use that nano editor. Right click. Press enter. Okay. In there, we're going to copy and paste the information below into this file between the configuration placeholders. So we're going to find several configuration placeholders. We just need to add these in there. It's ready for our update. So say copy. So take that. And again, look for the flashing cursor. And it will just come down. We're going to look for our placeholders. Here it is. Right here it says configuration. So between there is where we're going to put our configuration and paste. Okay? And that's it. So and that's it for that file. So let's go ahead and save. So Control X. Yes. Enter. Okay. We've just finished that the core site XML. Okay. Next, let's come down. There's a map red site that we need to update. So let's go to that file. Okay, right click, copy. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. we're copying a file. This is one file that we don't want to mess up. So we're copying this file, updating it, making a copy of it. Now, let's go in and edit it. Okay. Now, in this file, the configuration we're going to be changing is right here. Okay, so we're going to copy from this within the property there to here, these configuration variables. Right click, copy, and then look for your flashing icon. We'll come down to the configuration. I'm going to go right in here between these two files. And so, again, right click, paste, and there it is. And that's it for that file. Control X. Yes. And enter. Okay, let's go ahead and clear the screen here within terminal. Just so we should have a fresh start. Okay. Now the one we just did was the map red. Huh. All right. So we already did that one. Next, that means that puts us down here to yarn. We're about to do the yarn. Nano, the yarn site.xml. Okay, press enter. And within the yarn, let's see, let's come down a little bit. We're going to copy and paste those variables. Right click, copy, and then come down. Okay, and then from here, right click, paste. This you don't even have to worry about. It's commented out. It's just letting us know that's where you're going to be placing it. Okay, and then Control X. Yes. And enter. Okay. Okay. Now that we finished that, the next thing we need to do, because we now just created the Yarn site manager, the next step is we're going to create a couple of directories, the name node and data node directories. So let's, that's right, you can't, you only run one command at a time. All right, right click, copy, paste. We made that directory. Next, let's make this directory, the data node directory. Paste. All right. Then now let's change the ownership to you. Remember, we're going to be changing that variable once we copy it down here. Right click, copy. All right. Let's come up here and change your name. My name is James. And I'll get rid of all this stuff. There. Come to the end of the line and press enter. The ownership is now changed. Okay. The next thing we need to do is we need to modify the HDFS file. So we'll copy. I'm going to bring up Nano again and use that to edit that file. Okay, watch for the flashing cursor. We're going to come down, and here's our configuration that we're going to be placing inside of there within the HDFS site. And it'll start here, property. Take all of this, right click, copy. I'm going to be placing it here. Okay. So that concludes that. So now we're save and exit. So Control X, yes, and enter. All right. The next thing we need to do, these are the final steps. Format the file system by running the HDFS name node format command. So we'll take this command, right click, copy, right click, paste. Takes a few minutes for it to do that. Okay. Now that we did the format command, the last two steps, the last three steps. One, we need to do a start, S-T-A-R-T, minus dfs.sh. If everything went well, because right now this is the same command you'll use whenever you come back to this system to to start everything up. You just type in start-dfs.sh. Are you sure you want to connect? Yes. Oh, you got to write it all out too. Press enter. This is how you start up your system. Start minus dfs.sh. Okay, after you do that, then now let's start up the yarn. So here the command start minus yarn .sh. So you again remember that we're getting the commands from right here. Okay, and then so again you press enter. It's starting the yarn daemons. Okay, everything's set up there. Then the last step is JPS. We go JPS and press enter. Bam, everything's good. Now, I know as you're looking at this, you're wondering, okay, so what do I have? You now have a fully operational single node cluster of Hadoop. Now, this is what you'll do. As you can see in these right here, as far as first thing we want to do, we want to find out what our IP address is. So you'll type ifconfig to find out what the IP address is for this particular machine. So ifconfig, not IP, ifconfig. Once you do that, it'll then tell you your IP address. Here's your IP address, 10.0 for mine. This is the IP address. Now, so I can just do a right click. I can copy that. And now to open up in the browser, it's going to go HTTP IP address colon 8088. Okay. Sometimes it'll take a little while to start. So 8088 is going to go on the end of that. So let's start. Let's open up our browser. Okay. Then we'll start with HTTP colon, and then we'll go with the that IP address colon 8088. Okay, and then we press enter. There you go. That is your Hadoop. Okay. Okay. You can go through this and it'll give you all the details and everything. We'll cover in another class actual applications as far as how to use this cluster. All right. But now you can see here, even this is our box that we're on, and tells you all your running applications. Again, it'll be the fun part starts now that you have an up and running application. Okay. Also, if you want to see another part of that was on the second part, as far as if you want a more detailed information, you can go your IP address 570. So open up the browser again. And you can type in HTTP colon // and then the IP address, which is 10.0.2-500. But on the end of that, 1.5, you go colon, and then according to those instructions, 570, 500, and then 70. Press enter. Again, another application you can use as far as looking at your Hadoop system. This is a much more detailed approach. Okay, so again, congratulations if you've gotten this far. This is Dr. James Webb. Wishing you an enjoyable day. Thanks.